Hello, and welcome back to the Burnt Pancakes podcast. I am your host, Katie Fensky, and I'm here to remind moms that everyone burns their first pancake. Welcome back, everyone. I took last week off. There was no conversation last week because we took our kids on a little camping trip. I had the weekend off. It was lovely. It was so fun. I was so dirty and ready for a shower at the end. But we had a great time. We took them up to the Kern River, which is like in the Sequoias, about 4 hours from where we live. They had a blast. It was very, very hot while we were there. But this was kind of the first time that we've been camping where the road trip was totally doable. When we got there, we were able to unpack and set up the tent, and I was not holding a baby or chasing after a toddler. Like I kind of felt like at one point I looked at my husband, we were sitting with our friends and the boys were all riding bikes, and I'm like, we made it. We made it. We're in this stage of parenthood where I think we can like breathe a little bit. So that was really fun. That's like our one trip that we're taking this summer. So we had a great time, but I am so happy to be back speaking to you all. Um, my mom has my boys right now. This is, I think, the first time all summer, the last, I don't know how many weeks, that I have had a minute to myself. The boys are home. If one's in a camp, the other two are home. So I'm like, oh, just needing a little space from them. So this was lovely. I got my hair done today. I've got a little bit of time before she wants me to pick them up. So perfect time to record a podcast. This week, I thought it would be really fun to take a mom staple, something that moms cannot live without, and talk about the origin story of it, how it came to be. So today we're talking about yoga pants. They are all the rage now. They have been for a while, but they are considered, I would say, a mom staple. I probably wear yoga pants at least 4 days a week just because they're so comfortable. They're versatile. You can run around in them chasing your kids, wear them to work out, wear them to like school pickup, and they just are wonderful. Suck you in, they make you feel good. I don't know what we did before them. I do remember a time when yoga pants didn't exist. Um, I don't know how I survived college without them. These college girls are so lucky that this is in existence. Like just being able to throw them on and go to class would have been so nice. When I was in college, I actually was an athlete. I was on the crew team, so I rode, and we did wear spandex, like biker shorts. And for races, we had unitards. But these pants would have been so perfect to wear to practice and go straight to class instead of I legit went to class so many mornings with biker shorts underneath I had Adidas pants at the time. So, God, girls today, you 20-year-olds have it way better than we did back in the early 2000s. I actually remember getting my very first pair of yoga pants. I was in probably my mid 20s, probably about 25. And my boyfriend, who is now my husband, bought me a pair of Lululemon pants. They were the flare leg. So at the time it was like boot cut flare leg, I guess. I didn't even know how to pronounce the name of them. Um, I don't think I even knew what that store was. So he was way more fashionable than I was. But I absolutely from that day fell in love. I remember how amazing it was to go to the store for the first time and just see all the shirts and the pants and the helpers, the workers there were so helpful. You just felt pampered. Um, it felt pretty insane to spend that much money on yoga pants, but what I learned was you definitely get your money's worth because that first pair that I had lasted me for years. Now there are so many brands that make yoga prints pretty much everywhere. So at that time, it was like Lululemon was it. That's where you get your yoga pants. But now you can buy them at Old Navy. You can buy them off of Amazon. But I still do love Lululemon's quality. There's also another brand, Zaya, that I was introduced. I think it's only online, ZYIA. Those are like my two faves. I love them. Um, Fun fact about me, I actually usually go just for black yoga pants. I've really wanted to be that kind of person that could just do like fun colors and patterns and, like camouflage and tie dye. But I am very pear-shaped and my bottom half does not need that much going on. So even though I do love the look of like other, like right now, like sage green and mauve colors are super in, I tend to stick with gray or more like black and navy. So I might give it a try, but those are kind of like my go-to. So the question is, how did these glorious pants get their start? What is the origin of this mom staple? Well, you're going to be surprised that they were actually invented, believe it or not, by a man. So yoga pants did start with Lululemon. It is a Canadian company that was founded in 1998. And it was started by a yogi named Wilson. Chip Wilson. The brand actually started as a yoga studio back in Vancouver in 1998. The space was a design studio by day and then a yoga studio at night. But eventually, the apparel portion of Lululemon started gaining its footing, and it led to the location turning into an apparel store in 2000. So, Wilson is said to have been inspired to create these pants after attending a yoga class in 1997, where the instructor was wearing, quote unquote, slinky dance attire. These pants were originally designed for yoga as exercise and were a higher end alternative to just plain old cotton leggings. The cotton leggings where you're going to see crotch sweat and like a little more see through. These were made of a blend of nylon and lycra. They were synthetic elastic fibers that just provided more stretch and softness for this yoga sweat inducing poses. But since then, yoga pants have become more popular as yoga has grown in popularity. So, like in the early 2000s, many, many more people were doing yoga. I think that's kind of when I got my start. And at that time, more women wear they were turning their clothing into more casual wear. So yoga pants became like the everyday clothing for women. They're now considered a type of athleisure clothing. So that name, that word kind of came about, and they're worn for fashion as well as function. So I would say like half the time I'm wearing them for working out and half the time just for schlepping the kids around. A lot of people will ask where the name Lululemon originated from. When I first heard it, I had no idea how to pronounce it. Lululemon, I had no idea. But the story of where it came from is actually, I guess, not as exciting as I thought it would be. I thought the name had some meaning. But Chip Larson, who was the founder, he came up with the name after noticing that Japanese customers were drawn to brands that included the letter L. So I guess in Japanese, there is no letter L or L sound, which is harder for them to pronounce. So Wilson at the time ran a successful skateboarding brand in Japan called Homeless Skateboards. And he believed that the names with L sounded more like Western or North American to Japanese consumers. So he thought that would appeal to them. He thought that the difficulty of saying the L sound could be a marketing tool to products in that country. And he wrote that he came up with 20 different names and possible logos, one of them being athletically hip before he came up with Lululemon. So that one has 3 L's in it. So he thought this will be tough for the Japanese to say, which would make it sound Western, which would make them want to buy it, is kind of what he went with. The logo was actually designed to fit another possible brand name, so the athletically hip. The logo may just look like a white upside down horseshoe in a circle, in a red circle, but it actually meant to be a stylized A, so to fit the athletically hip name. The name didn't catch on, but the logo stayed the same. But Lululemon's full name is Lululemon Athletica, so I guess the A still fits. So, how did they get so popular and why did Lululemon start the trend? So, Lululemon has basically cemented itself as the go to choice for athletic wear for all of us millennials and Gen Z women, just because they really foster a lot of brand loyalty. Social media influencers have also played a role in the demand for Lululemon products. When they first arrived on the scene, the price may have seemed shocking, but it really did lead to a feeling of like exclusivity, and the customer service you received really made you feel like you were being, I don't know how to describe it. Like you felt like you were being pampered or treated really well. So the brand made you feel special for wearing it. There have been tons of budget retailers who have tried to copy the looks. You'll see a lot of people saying, oh, this is the scuba jacket dupe and this is the line legging dupe. So I guess you've made it when all these other brands are trying to copy you. Lululemon has, in the recent past, signed a deal with Peloton. They've joined forces, and the terms state that Peloton will now act as Lululemon's exclusive digital fitness content provider, while Lululemon will be Peloton's sole athletic apparel partner. So the next time you throw on a pair of yoga pants to pack your kids up in the car or run to the grocery store, you can have Chip Wilson to thank for your booty looking so good. I had so much fun researching this because I was around at the time when leggings or yoga pants were like coming onto the scene. And it is so weird to me, like a blast from the past to think we didn't have these before, but yet they're such a staple now. Like you won't go out of the house and not see someone in them. I don't know how I used to work out before. I think I used to wear just like shorts, like just loose fitting. I don't even know what you call them. I played basketball in high school, so I wore basketball shorts, but like in college, I would wear bike shorts for rowing. And then, if I was going to go for a run or go to the gym, it was just, putting on shorts. So the fact that there is such an easy thing to throw on now to work out on is such a blessing. But this was really fun to research. I wanted to know kind of the backstory of where they came to be and if it was, in fact, Lululemon that started it. So that was really cool. If you love to know about other things, if you liked this and you are curious about some other origin stories of some mom must-haves, I would love to know that because I kind of want to do a few more. I was maybe thinking about doing why the Stanley Quencher became all the rage. Like, where did that fad come from? So if you're curious, drop me an email, send me a DM on Instagram, or there's a link in this description where you can send me a text. So let me know if there's something else you are curious, like what are the origin stories of this thing that we can't live without anymore? Because I might do a series of these. I think that would be really fun. I don't know. I like doing the research. But anyways, it is officially time's up for me. I only had a short window of time to record this while my kids are at my mom's, but she needs me to pick them up. So I am officially out of time. But I will see you all next week for another conversation. I am starting to kind of plan out some podcast interviews in the fall. Once my kids are back in school, I'm going to start bringing on more people onto the podcast. So stay tuned for those. Hang in there, ladies. It's summertime. The kids are home. We can do this. I will see you again next week for another conversation. And as always, I want to remind you that everyone burns their first pancake. So just keep flipping.